The following podcast is for a mature audience and contains detailed descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Tales of Mystara podcast, an experimental podcast that mixes traditional storytelling with old-school pen and paper role-playing games played entirely solo. This could be considered a dark fantasy novel or a solo Dungeons and Dragons campaign. If treated like a novel, then nothing can be assumed. Only the dice can determine the outcome. It cannot be known whether a character will live or die. Nothing is precious. No one is safe from the roll of the dice. If treated like a tabletop role-playing game, there are no players. There is no dungeon master. There is only me, the rules, and the dice. Following the destruction of the Golden Age Traldar, the peoples of the land descended into a dark age. Some villages survived, and trade eventually commenced with Minrothad and Thyatis peoples. The descendants of the Traldar began inching their way toward economic recovery. But the Traldar still faced many problems. In the centuries after the Golden Age, evil things settled in the Traladaran forests and mountains. Some evil force cursed the land with vampires, lycanthropes, and other beasts. Every Traladara village has its legends of ruins occupied by vampire lords or villagers transforming into werewolves at the full moon. Often, these legends are true. The Dark Age of the Traldar, a forgotten text written by a nameless scholar of the Church of Karameikos. Its age is unknown. Date: Solidane 7, Claremont, AC 1000. Time: 2:51 p.m. Party status: Claudius 4 hit points, Theodore 4 hit points, Elmo 5 hit points, Ilyana 2 hit points, Yolanda 4 hit points. The party is in a 20-foot by 30-foot room with a door on the south wall opposite the entrance. Standing right in front of Ilyana is a large 5-foot-long crab spider, which appears to be wary of her torch flame. I will roll the crab spider's hit dice to determine its number of hit points. To add suspense, I will keep the results to myself. Theodore pulls a flask of oil from a bright red saddlebag. He's going to sling it at the monstrous spider. Throw your torch, Ilyana, he instructs. Ilyana will heed the instruction. Yolanda swiftly draws her bow and takes aim at the 8-legged monster. Elmo and Claudius aim their slings. They get a +1 bonus for short range. Initiative rolls. Spider 5, Party 5. All action will take place simultaneously. Theodore throws the flask of oil. He gets an 18. The flask smashes into the spider and douses its body in oil. The crab spider attempts to sink its fangs into Ilyana's flesh as she raises her hand in an effort to throw her burning torch. It rolls a natural 20. In BECMI rules, a natural 20 always hits if it's possible to do so, regardless of any applied penalties or bonuses. Ilyena will take 1d8 damage plus poison. It's a 1. She's very lucky. The large fangs only scraped her. But she must still make a saving throw versus poison. She needs a 12 or higher to save. She rolls a 16. She resists the effects of the spider's venom. Her torch is loose. Including her bonus, she gets a 16. The spider bursts into flames. The burning oil will do 1d8 points of damage every round and will burn for 1 turn. The spider takes 5 points of damage. As the flame takes, Elmo, Claudius, and Yolanda use missile fire to keep the creature back. Yolanda's bow, a 10 including modifiers, is a miss. Elmo's sling hits. The 1d4 does 4 damage. Claudius's sling. He needed a 12 and got a 12. 2 points of damage. The spider is close to death. Ilyena is going to use the fighting withdrawal maneuver and back away from the spider, letting it burn to death. She can back away at 5 feet per round. The rest of the party will attempt to run around the spider to the door on the south end of the room, opposite the way they came in. They will use their running speed to do so. Second round of combat. Party 1, Spider 6. Before Ilyena can back away, the spider lunges for her. It rolls a 10 and misses. The spider's attack is deflected by Ilyena's shield as she backs away. The rest of the party make it to the south door. The spider takes another 1d8 points of damage from the flames. It takes 8 damage. The spider collapses onto its back and it crumples. Its legs curl into its body and it withers and burns.
Are you looking for a D&D podcast with a dark side? Something more like Game of Thrones and less like Monty Python? Tale of the Manticore is part dark fantasy audio drama, part solo D&D RPG. There's no plot armor here. The dice make all the important decisions. Join me as I resurrect the excitement, wonder, and emotion of old school D&D. Made for a mature audience, Tale of the Manticore is both a fiction and a game. It's the story where chaos rolls.
Yolanda Volloy is a human thief of neutral alignment. She is a member of the Volloy clan of Specularum, a very wealthy and titled Thyacian family. She is the niece of Baron Philip Volloy, and as a young girl, she was very close to her cousin, Mariana, her uncle's daughter, and also his pride and joy. Yolanda's family is the third corner of the triangle of great families in Specularum, and often clashes with the Toronescu and Redu clans. As a court lady, her formal title is Lady Volloy, but as an adventurer, she does not use this formality, nor does she adorn her family crest, in an effort to keep unwanted attention at bay. Yolanda also has ties with the Kingdom of Thieves. She has worked for them many times as a talented scout who has a picture-perfect memory. She has been an asset. She can commit the general layout of a building to memory. Yolanda is 24 years of age, but intelligent beyond her years. She is 5 foot 3 inches tall and of elfin build, a little smaller than the average Thyashan woman, and although weaker in physical strength, she makes up for this with her swift agility. She has dark brown hair and brown eyes. Her complexion is tanned, and she wears her hair in a single long braid. Although Yolanda is a thief, it is not obvious. She dresses like most adventurers do, in fairly common, although expensive, quality fashion. This includes black ankle-length trousers, fine leather armour, a good sword belt with an ornate sword sheathed to her side, and a bow and quiver of arrows strapped to her back. Yolanda could be described as selfish, and is likely to save herself before she will help others. She's also quite ruthless at times, and will willingly slice the throat of a sleeping enemy without hesitation.
Hi, I'm Chris Guthrie, and I'm the host of the Roll for Equality podcast. We're an LGBTQ+ and woman-led show that uses history for character inspiration by telling stories about badass historical people and how to make them into a PC or NPC for your campaigns, with class, race, and background suggestions. We also do interviews and discussions about our experiences as women at the game table, social issues, and advice to help give a platform to women and non-binary players of every variety. There are plenty of laughs, drinks, hijinks, and more here at Roll for Equality, and we would love for you, however you identify, to come join in the fun and camaraderie. The Roll for Equality podcast. Give us a listen on major podcast platforms, and happy adventuring.
The party rests until the spider stops burning. After a turn, Yolanda lights a torch and passes it to Ilyena, who tries the south door. The door is successfully forced open. Beyond the door is a 10-foot wide corridor leading south to another door. The corridor also branches east and west. I will make a Wandering Monster check at this point. No wandering monsters appear. Which way will the party turn? The party decides to take the east corridor, which leads 10 foot to another door. Yolanda gestures with a finger to her lips to the others, and she presses an ear against the door. She can't hear anything. She steps aside for Ilyena to open it. The handle will not budge. She leads the way east instead. There is another door just a further 10 feet from where the corridor branches back to the north. She waits for Yolanda to listen at this door also. Yolanda's roll to hear noise is successful, so I will roll to determine the contents of the room beyond the door. It's empty, says Yolanda. Ilyena tries the handle. With a sharp tug, she just about manages to pull it open. The room beyond the door is 40 feet wide and 20 feet long. There is a door opposite the entrance and another to the north. The party will go to the nearest. Yolanda hears no sign of life behind the door. Ilyena opens the door with ease. After a 10-foot entranceway, the room opens into a 30-foot by 30-foot square. This place is a maze, and full of empty rooms, Ilyena says. So many doors and corridors, and no sign of the infamous Bargle. Keep searching, instructs Claudius, just as his lantern burns out. Coronis, father of time, no more oil. Theodore passes over his only remaining flask. Claudius takes a moment to relight his lantern. The party takes a turn to rest here. They sip a little from their water skins and eat some of their rations for sustenance. I'll roll another wandering monster check. No monster indicated. The party has two choices. Take the door to the north or west. The party go to the west door. Yolanda listens again and nods to instruct that there is no sound beyond the door. Ilyena makes 2 attempts to open it. Immediately beyond this door is 10 feet of space and another door. You've got to be kidding me, Ilyena says. Yolanda makes another check for noise. Clear. Ilyena opens it. A wandering monster is indicated here. I will roll on a wandering monster table I created for this adventure. It's another square 30 foot by 30 foot room, but this room is extremely damp and cold. As the party moves into the centre of the room, they hear a scuttling sound. I will make a further roll to determine the number of monsters indicated. 3 foot-long insects with many legs scurry in from a small hole in the middle of the south wall. They are giant centipedes. I will roll to determine the creature's hit points. I will also roll to determine surprise. Neither the party or giant centipedes are surprised. Claudius, Ilyena and Yolanda will move towards the creature and engage one each in melee combat. Elmo will help Ilyena by engaging the same one as her in melee. Theodore will move into a 10-foot wide doorway on the west wall out of harm's way. Initiative rolls. Centipedes 2. Party 5. Claudius's to hit roll. He slams his mace into one of the centipedes, crushing it into the stone floor. Elmo's to hit roll. He buries his hand axe into one of the centipedes. The thing squirms violently, but lives. Ilyena brings down her sword, but the insect is too fast for her. Yolanda tries with her sword. She also misses. The centipede bites back, but she is also too quick. The other remaining centipede will attack Elmo or Ilyena. It bites Elmo. The bite finds its mark, injecting a thick, dark poison into Elmo's bloodstream. He must make a saving throw versus poison. Is Elmo hardy enough to withstand its effects, or will he succumb to the poisonous bite and become violently ill? And if they survive the encounter, will the party ever find their way out of this endless maze of rooms and corridors? Stay tuned.
Welcome to your Eldritch Journeys.
I'm BJ Haddix, and I play Bagyo Ubo, a turtle monk. On my journeys, I endeavor to make up for my greatest failure, one life at a time.
My name is Weston, and I play Griffin, an Aarakocra swashbuckler. I seek to do what's right to quiet the echoes of my past.
I'm Eddie Flynn, and I play the mad sorcerer Howland Rain. I've never really been great at being a good guy, but being a villain, on the other hand, now that is something I could be great at.
A D&D epic like none other, on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and more. Now quick, BJ, say a joke. Let's take a journey.
The following podcast is not intended for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. The Iron Realm. When all planes of existence fall to ash, there is only one realm that remains. The Iron Realm. Before you in all directions, deep in the dark, there lies the maze. The Iron Realm. Millions of miles of corridors, caves, tunnels without end. This is the ultimate dungeon. Orcs, goblins, kobolds, trolls. Ready your sword, your spells, your crossbow, your warhammer. The Iron Realm. Keep close your companions, for they are your only hope for survival. Elf, fighter, wizard, cleric. There are no rerolls. There is no way out. Yet here, in the dark, if any of the merciful gods still remain, you may find the strength you need to fight, the cunning you need to hide, and the luck you need to stay alive. Just a little longer. Iron Realm! Iron Realm! Iron Realm! I am your maze master, Abel Enzo. Get your dice and graph paper, and be sure to bring your friends. I'll see you in the realm. Get the podcast at theironrealm.com or theironrealm.blogspot.com. There be dragons here.
You have been listening to the Tales of Mystara podcast. I sincerely hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have listened on YouTube, then I would appreciate you taking the time to subscribe, click the like button, and let me know your thoughts in a comment. If you have listened on iTunes, then I would appreciate it if you would leave a 5-star review. These things really help, and they let me know that the work I put into this podcast is worth it, and that I am making content that people like. After all, that's why I'm doing this. Once again, thanks for listening. I'll see you next session.